That is discipline. Selfish.
No joke. We're legitimate.
Then do it. Do it 100%, because I'm trying to.
We recognize that we are limitless.
You gotta be a champion, become a champion, right? Winning is a habit because we create habits that lead to good execution and success.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Coach's Show. As we headbang through that intro, eventually we'll get a new one. Tonight, we're going to do something a little different. We're stepping outside the professional ranks and taking a quick dip into the world of divisional paintball, because if you really want to understand where championship teams come from, you have to look at how they're built. The San Antonio Gunners have been lighting up the USXBL in 2026, winning 2 of the first 3 events and sitting at the top of the elite division. And tonight, we're going to find out what's behind this young team's breakout season. Joining us is a guy who knows both sides of the equation, a professional player with the Los Angeles Ironmen and coach of San Antonio Gunners, Mr. Jesse Stevens. We're going to talk to you about what it takes to develop a championship-level divisional team. How do you prepare for blind layouts? What skills are they working on every single week? How much time does this young group actually spend on the field? And perhaps most importantly, what are they doing differently that's allowing them to compete and win at this level? Because success in divisional paintball, ladies and gentlemen, doesn't happen by accident. It's built through preparation, repetition, accountability, and a commitment to getting better every time you step out on the field. So tonight, we're going to pull back the curtain and find out what goes into building a winning team. What's the secret to developing a championship-level divisional team? Let's ask Coach Jesse Stevens in the San Antonio Gunners, shall we? This is episode 124 of the Coach's Show. But before we do, I want to check out our awesome sponsors. First up, Max Sportswear. If you're looking for premium custom jerseys, pants, gloves, packs, or other team gear, Charles and the crew at Max have you covered. They've been a huge part of what we do here at the Coach's Show, and they continue to deliver the quality service and attention to detail that teams deserve. Whether you're building a brand new team or getting your existing program ready for the next level, get maxed. The Coach's Show is also proudly sponsored by BKI Paintball. BKI has been the go-to destination for paintball players and teams looking to improve their game since paintball hit the internet. You'll find everything you need to compete at your best. From individual to team, from playing to coaching, BKI has centralized some of the greatest minds in paintball all in one place. Whether you're a serious competitor or beginner, this is where you need to be. Check out BKI Paintball. Become a member today at bkipaintball.com. And of course, we want to thank Virtue Paintball for supporting the Coach's Show. Virtue's been pushing paintball technology and equipment forward for years. From their gear and protection to the products players depend on every time they step onto the field. They're committed to helping players perform at their highest level, and that's something we know we can all get behind. Virtue Paintball, built for players who take the game seriously. All right. Tonight, divisional paintball, awesome. Stoked. I can't wait to talk Jesse. Jesse and I go way back to the Louisiana days. So,
that was a great intro.
Oh, well, thank you. You know what's funny? How does it compare to the last intro I wrote?
Since I already know, I'm just going to tell you, I like yours a lot better, but I thought it was great.
So that was AI, everybody. I finally bit the bullet, and I was like, you know what? I'm running a little late. I need a little help. I'm going to slap this some prompts in the AI and see what it gets me, and there it was.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Yeah, so really excited about this episode. We were going to have Jesse try to get him on last week, and he had a drill night. So he was like, man, I got a drill night tonight. I got a bunch of people coming out, so I can't do it. And to me, that's like, yeah, go do that, right?
Good reason.
Yeah, right. Anytime coaches, players, teams are like doing things during the week, I mean, let's go, right? Like that's where the work is. It's in the dirt. So when this weekend he kind of shot me a message and said like, man, I was a little bit bummed I didn't get to come on. And I was like, well, these things come around every Monday, bro. Yeah. Let's go. You want to come on Monday? And he was like, yeah, let's do it. So really excited to have Jesse on. I know several of the players on this Gunnerz team. So I've been kind of keeping up with him. Really excited for what he's done with this group. It's not a bunch of new players, right? There's some new guys on the team, but it's a group that's had some history as far as some of the individual players. He's done a great job putting them all together and getting them playing together, right? Which is the most important thing with the team, is that continuity and connectivity. So Jesse's done a really good job with that. Really excited to get, probably for me, I'm most excited about his input about blind layouts. You and I talked a lot about preparation and how we prepare for events and the data and things that we collect when we're at those layout practices. So many of the events, in fact, all the ones that they play with USXBL, we were talking about WCPPL, are blind layouts, right? They've obviously got it figured out. So really want to hear kind of Jesse's process for how they figure out how they're going to start the layout. And then kind of what data, if any, he's collecting as the event goes on to make adjustments to the way they thought they were going to play. So really, really excited.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely want to get into the question of systems versus development. Right. So anyway, we'll get into that. Let's bring him in. He's got a lot of, Jesse, welcome. You got a lot of people lighting the chat up for you tonight.
Awesome.
Lots of fans.
Well, it's a pleasure. I'm happy to be here with you guys. Been watching the show for a while. It's awesome to get with it, chop it up with you guys. A lot of respect for both of you.
God bless you, man. Yeah. Well, I mean, like Ryan was saying, obviously you and I have a lot of history. You and Ryan have history, and it's been really fascinating to watch me as an outsider watch you grow in your professional journey. But now there's this other thing you and I could talk about with coaching the Gunnerz, and I'm kind of stoked about it.
Oh yeah, it's been such a wonderful 3 years with the guys, and I just feel so lucky and blessed, in all honesty, with the group that I got, and just the whole journey of it. I'm probably going to sound like a broken record with how many times I say journey, but it really is. Right. The timeline of it has been outstanding, and in all honesty, I feel like we're ahead of schedule, and it's been just wonderful across the board, seeing the growth. And I got a couple of them already getting reps with X Factor. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool seeing this whole thing evolve.
Wow. That brings up a whole new line of questioning, but I'll hold off on that right now.
Oh, I saved that one for you.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, it's a great question. Somebody's already asking in the chat, who's on the roster?
Right.
Why don't you spit the roster out for us?
I'll start from my snake side and work down. I have Michael Leon Guerrero. I have Rafael Rivera, Corey Sepulveda, Antonio Fernandez, Nicholas McKenna. There is Jeremy Zimmerman, as you all know, for our USXBL squad. I have Kelson Walker as well. And I have Jay Faison, my ace. So the roster's been reworked. I have another guy, Tim McGregor, who is coming to the NXL Texas with us. We'll be playing that one as well. I have him on my Division 4 line. He's one of the original members, along with some other guys. But I have some of them that I kind of bring in and out, let them get some good quality reps in there. But for the most part, I have a roster of 7 plus Jeremy at 8. So I try and keep it around there. We've been in an issue before where I've carried 10, 11 in an event, and then, no matter if we're winning or not or whatever, somebody's always unhappy. So it's a little easier. I mean, I do think the magic number is 7 until someone gets hurt. So I try and keep it at 8. But if you can run 7 bad motherfuckers and keep those back 3 on the field all the time, and then just rotate the ones, magic happens. You know, you get those shooters involved. If you look back in the history of the NXL, there was a Phoenix event in 2008 where Infamous won, and I think between it was Travis, LB, and Glenn Takamoto. Those three played probably 50, 60 plus points all weekend long, and we're G'ing up like 1 to 2 bodies every event or every point in the finals against the Russians. And I mean, that's just a testament of, you know, being hot and having the reps, you know, getting your guns right. So, you know, in my opinion, if I can keep those back three on the field longer, and especially those being the quarterbacks on the field, getting the reps, seeing everything kind of unfolding and having to be those closers, like I think it's really advantageous.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay.
I'm a paintball historian too, so
exactly. I know you are. You and I've chatted about this before.
Yeah, I can tell you every winner of every PSP NXL event dating back to Texas 2006. You know.
Yeah.
So you like the 3-back system?
I do. I mean, you know, with 8, there is another guy. I kind of try and keep, you know, 4 in rotation. You know, just to give somebody a rest. But if I can keep those back 3 on the field the entire event, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And
the advantage you see from this is from a familiarity and a communication perspective. Or
yes,
okay.
Yes, and just overall sharpness and just understanding the flow of the game and just getting all the looks, the reps, and just knowing what to do. Those are the quarterbacks, you know, the guys that are, you know, in charge of the operations that's happening, and just the closers. You're going to hear me say that multiple times over the course of the show. I mean, I need the closers understanding, you know, all the different phases, being able to put it together.
Especially with a blind layout too, like not wanting to rotate those shooters makes a lot of sense, right? Like you want to get those guys as many opportunities to shoot those shots on a blind layout as possible, right? The deeper you get, the more opportunities and experience with those shots that they've had throughout the event. Whereas where you're prepping a layout, it's a little bit different. You can rotate, you know, 5 guys back there because they're all going to get a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, and unfortunately in divisional paintball, and you know, you get lucky with some of the layouts, and then you don't get lucky with some of these layouts. Sometimes we're only playing 3-4 points. You know, like the last Florida USXBL, the finals was 2 points played. The semifinals, our match was 3 points played, and you just don't get that many opportunities. You know, I would love to take the Russian mentality and just be looking to play 14 to 17 points. But we don't have the time for that.
No.
You know, and a lot of the time guys just, the field locks up and they just don't know what to do, when really it's like, just roll the dice, figure it out, and give us another opportunity.
Yeah.
That might be a good segue. So when playing a blind layout, I think preparation is about understanding the principles that make the field work, right? Most fields work. So, but in this case, when you don't have a ton of information about a layout, what are some of the things you immediately start looking for?
How do you control the field? And then like you're always going to have kind of a win side. Like you'll get lucky, and you know, all 3 areas of the field, the middle, the Dorito side, the snake side, will have pathways to go eat up bodies. But sometimes, you know, and we've seen it a million times with some of the layouts where the Dorito side is more counter, you know, and then the guy sneaks out and can go get a couple bodies based off of what's going on in the middle and the snake side. But like more often than not, it's the snake side's a car crash, which you're trading bodies. So the meta is going to be go 3 that way, so that third body can go be the second one once it becomes a 4-on-4, whatever it is. But like a lot of the time, like we are trying to look for what spots we want to be in to close immediately. And what I'm trying to do with a blind layout is I'm always trying to find the hold on each side, and then the second layer off of that to build around. And yeah, there's some traps and stuff, some switches and things you can set up to go catch a body or whatever. But for the most part, I just try and dub it down, the KISS method, keep it simple, stupid. I'm trying to find a way to just, where's the hold, and make it simple for my guys. Can you see a gap? Can you see multiple gaps? Then you want to be in this spot, and then once the guy goes and you can no longer see him anymore from this Dorito insert, do you need to get wide and go match up and hold the tape? Or can you make a move inside and go to this spot, and then all of a sudden that gap is now open and you can control this Dorito 3 or the Snake 2 or whatever it is. I really try and develop these basic concepts with the guys and just have them understand the roles, the jobs, and then build off the switches, right? Like the inside guy gets put away, he can't control the gap anymore. He needs the outside guy to help, or he needs another body from the opposite side to switch and help. Little things like that. But I'm looking for the holes, and then I'm trying to piece together, okay, like where can we build our operations, our 2-3 man operations on either side, and really set some cool stuff up to where we can go power down a side, or what positions can we take early or within the first 30 seconds to then open things up, so it's that kind of stuff. It's more so simplified, but I mean, again, like, you don't get a lot of opportunities sometimes to do some of the magical things the Russian Legion may do. So it's really, like, for me, it's data. Okay, well, how often can we make the Dorito 2, or how often can we make this corner? And we can get there 60-70% of the time, but I'm still going to move pieces around and keep their guns guessing, so I really try and, condense, and I have the pieces, I have the legs to run wherever I want to go, but I'm also thinking deeper into the tournament. I can't just beat this kid up running Dorito 2, Dorito 3 all tournament long, Yeah. And for me personally, I almost would rather put him in the Dorito 1 and make him earn his way out and play more control, and rely more on our guns, because I think we have some of the best shooters in divisional paintball. And this can segue into the drill nights or whatever, but bread and butter, man. Hit your shots, do the work, get in the dirt. Y'all said it before, I love that side of it. That's how the Gunners were started. We started doing the drill nights, and it just evolved from there. So, like, again, like, it's fundamentals and being sharp.
Right. It's funny how few people truly understand that. Like, when they start adding those, doing the work, and all of a sudden that trajectory starts increasing, and they're like, hey, wow, and it's funny. A lot of teams are like, they're not doing that. They're just not doing it. And there's only one or two things that's happening there. They don't care. They don't want to, and they're not that interested in improving and becoming a winning organization. Or they're just lazy and they think they can skirt it, and they're in for a rude awakening. So I don't know.
The landscape of,
but I'm so talented.
Yeah.
So one of the things I was going to ask Jesse was, like, what are some of the, and I was going to piggyback, and you gave a great answer, and I was just going to piggyback on that and say, well, what are some of the first 3 questions you ask your players? And in a way, you've already done that, right? We look for control. We look for spots we can close. We want to close from. We look for that second layer in the hole. Is there anything else you'd add to that? Or?
I have quite a few creative players, and I like to give them some freedom, like, to where, like, you just go play, go flow, do what you're feeling, whatever that little voice in the back of your head is telling you to do in that moment. Just do it. I'm not going to yell at you. Just go, try it, do it. Cool. Just try not to get a major, it's like one of those.
That's important.
Yeah. Try not to fuck us, but yeah.
Right. And we made it 7.5 minutes before you dropped the first.
I know. I was like, thank goodness we were in there. So
we already made it. We were good.
I'll try not to get canceled. Don't worry.
No, YouTube has a rule. Like, you have to, it's like 7.5 minutes or something in the first part of your show. If you drop a bomb, they make you.
Then it was all part of the plan.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. This
Yeah,
was
you
all
went
part of our.
We were like 9 minutes.
This,
when you
this was
dropped it.
about
You were good.
spotting the spot to close from and finding that control. So good job.
Yeah, I think this is so first of all, like your methodology is I think like the common methodology right now, especially from what I've seen like of USXBL and even some of WCPPL, and we've hit this. It really started a few years ago where teams started looking at layouts in more of ways that they could control it, slow it down, stop things, all of those kinds of things. Most of the time, those teams don't have great gun skills, right? But like you're saying, your guys have great gun skills. Can I ask why you don't play a 2-back, 3-up system and let those gun skills really benefit what your guys can do? Like if they're good at 130 feet, right, which would be like the first line to the first line.
Yeah.
How much better are they going to be if you're able to get, if they're now at 70 feet, right, from the center line to the first line?
So we're not always 3-back. Like we have all the different speeds. I like to think we have all the tools in the arsenal to do whatever we want, but I'm trying to get that back center guy out and in the mix,
Yeah.
And it's happening quite often. It's just kind of depending on how I draw up the play and then what we're given off the break, and then where can we go stack 3 bodies this way? Shit, even 4 bodies, If it's a field where we're allowed, like if a guy can go sit on an island over here and just buy the other side 45 seconds, we're probably going to win with 4 guys over there. Like I really don't always try and have those 3 back all the time. Like I want that third body getting in the mix at some point. I don't want them just sitting back there rolling their guns the whole time. It's all situational though too. I mean, if we're up multiple points, and they got to come at us, then yeah, like I'll have the whole setup, but more often than not, I want to keep the foot on the gas and just keep pushing forward, and make them play our game. So I hope that answers the question, but I really don't want to sit in the back. I want to get in the mix and go eat people up.
You've got a unique perspective of being both a professional player and a divisional coach. What has each side taught you about the other?
With my own career, I guess a lot of patience, and the mistakes I learned early on with divisional coaching is sometimes you do have to remove your ego and put yourself in the player's shoes and really cater towards the different personalities, because everyone's different.
Totally.
And and at year 1 for us, it was truly like me kind of in just dictator role, yelling, blowing up, exploding on everybody. And now I'm managing, I do cater towards guys and try and set them up for success. And I heard you say this as well, Ryan, like when you transitioned over to the Russians, you found yourself having to like really be the nice guy, and like really check on guys and see where they were, kind of gauge where they are, and really try and supplement them in many ways, being that safe space as well. I've kind of grown into that, and believe it or not, I've gotten tremendous success from the players, and I've found ways to not erode relationships just with a swift kick in the ass all the time, which is what it was the first year or two. And now I've found that the feedback I'm getting and the growth I'm starting to see from everyone has been so much better. And it's just been so enjoyable seeing a lot of the kids growing up too, and just helping all of them reach their goals, achieve their dreams, and seeing this whole thing unfold. But I've really tweaked like my coaching style over this last year, especially just to really be a little more nurturing.
Yeah. No longer one gear, right?
Yeah, it's no longer one gear. I got a few more tools in my arsenal now, but
there you go.
Do
you think you were that hard charger that first year because that's how you were coached, that's how you were raised, so that's what you knew? And then as you got into it and you started realizing, hey, there's other ways to other people.
For sure. And I'm a football guy, so
right.
You grow up seeing all the hard-nosed coaches, the Bill Parcells, and you fall in love with the style, but it doesn't necessarily translate over to like our sport with a lot of guys paying to play, paying for your services rather than you have ownership paying them. So it's not all the same, but it's been a growth process. When I started coaching back when I was on X Factor in I want to say 2017, 2018, like I really started getting into it, and I felt like, it's kind of my duty to give back and make sure that the next generation has something, and you really leave a legacy that way. And that's kind of how my career went. I mean, I got taken under the wing by Sean McDonald early and was very blessed to have a professional invest in me and give me a blueprint to take and run with. And he did it for free, and for me now it's like, I needed to make ends meet as well. So yes, I started monetizing everything,
right.
But I developed a product. And from 2017 till I think about 2022, 23, there were a lot of tough lessons that I learned just through trial and error and just how I handled myself. And from, I think 25, it's when like I really started to turn it on. But I think it came with maturity and just me growing as a man and understanding through my own experiences, like what I really want out of not just my players, but out of myself as a coach and what I'm giving them. Yeah. So, and like the majority of my team, I'd say the majority, the whole organization, especially the D3 line, we are very close. A lot of these guys are some of my best friends and my biggest supporters. So it's like there's a lot of love there, and we've been through it all together. So the process has just been beautiful, and I feel like now I don't really have to just choose somebody out. I can just kind of give them the cliff points and they know, or I can shoot them a look and they already know, so it's just been a beautiful process,
I think it's easy when you don't have those kinds of relationships, when you're talking about early on in relationships as a coach, because you don't know yet, like, what are the ways that I can better motivate and cultivate these scenarios that I'm trying to get a player where they need to go. Once you like get to that place where you have those kinds of personal relationships, it's easier to find multiple different pathways to help to push a player to where you need them to go. Right. I know in many coaching situations I've been, it's easier to come in hard because that's like the formula for coaching most of the time, right? Like you mentioned with other sports. Ours is unique though. It's unique in a way that the majority of people who play our sport are not athletes. They're dorks. They're guys like us who are like, you probably tried to play another sport and you weren't great at it, right? So you ended up in paintball because you weren't an amazing baseball player. You weren't an amazing football player. You weren't an amazing soccer player, or you'd be doing that, right? Like maybe you were pretty good, maybe you were, but the reality is the majority of the people who play our game were dorks, right? Like we couldn't make it in other sports, so we ended up here.
Yeah.
So, and that's not, yeah, that's right. Yeah. And that's not like, I'm not throwing shots at people. That's just the reality of who our community is, which by the way, I love our fucking community. Like, you know, I'm a dork too, but we have to be a little bit malleable and more of a chameleon in the way that we handle those situations. And I appreciate that, that you've found a way to do that and certainly created this amazing connection. Although I will tell you that a connection gets tough when you got to cut somebody.
Yeah.
And makes it a lot harder when you got to move somebody along.
For sure. Or move them around. Like
Right.
I've had numerous tough conversations, the principal's office conversations, you know, and it's tough. And like, you know, multiple days go by and we don't talk to each other for a little while, and then we have to circle back and, you know, squash it or whatever. So it's never easy, but
yeah, it's tough.
You got to be real and you got to hold people accountable and shoot them straight, you know.
It is.
That honesty is usually the answer. Like, you're just honest with people, then things get, even if it's hard for them to hear, if it's honest and it's real, you didn't make it up, it's a lot easier for people to swallow that.
Yeah,
for sure. Can we circle back though to the blind layout thing? Is that okay? Would you mind like giving us kind of and everybody in the chat will get to your questions. There's several that I've highlighted. But can you give us your process? Like when you guys show up to walk the layout, like give us the kind of bullet points of here's the process we work. We start with this and then we finish with this. And then the next day we're testing XYZ for the first 3 to 5 points, whatever. Give us what that process looks like for you.
First thing I'm looking at is I walk the back line and I'm just looking at the gaps. And then there's always those inserts, whether they're towers or whatever, kind of on that, on the second layer on the back line, right? There's normally some sort of setup like that for the holds and whatnot. I'm trying to see like what can effectively control, but also seeing what's makeable, you know. And oftentimes we're looking at a giant gap that you can park a car through, and you start playing and then people are just flying through it. So there's always that side of it, but I'm kind of looking at that and then building off of, okay, what space can we take off the top, you know, off the break? What's perfectly makeable? Like what's safe? What secondaries can we set up from some of these safer spots to then get out even wider, you know? And then obviously like the interior of the field, is there something to work off of there? The two sides, like, okay, which is probably going to be the slower side? What's the faster side? Sometimes they're both fast and you can go down either of them. So then it's just figuring out, okay, how do we want to attack this, you know?
Right.
So
so you get there and you walk that field, you look for these things. You probably spend about how long walking that field?
Hour to 2 hours. Sometimes we're sitting there and it's just, you know, guys are talking theory the whole time, and I don't like to just sit there doing that, and then all the crazy stuff kind of starts coming out. Guys want to do all this weird shit, and I'm just like, man, let's go get dinner. You know, because I already have in my head I kind of already have in my head kind of, okay, this is the base play, and then given what happens, we can build off of this and can take what's given and then set up what we want to do. But thankfully, a lot of these layouts that Mike's been dropping, it's fairly straightforward, you know. And granted, like, we don't have a whole week to practice a layout and find all the intricacies and the magical things, you know, we can pull out of our ass and do on this layout. Like, it's very fast paced when you get to a divisional layout. So you see a lot of teams start doing the same things. But then it's okay after that first 20, 30 seconds that you really see the separators and, the higher level players from, the guys that are just competing. So like that's a big thing. And I feel like with the Gunners, we've developed kind of I don't want to say an impact system, but like we can run a base play, and then given whatever happens, we can put together and process what needs to happen off of that. And I have enough field generals out there that can put it together rather quickly and just make something happen. It helps when they have the gun skills and they're a little bit sharper than everybody else, because I feel like we play more paintball than most other teams we're competing against. I know the fit teams are playing all the time and they get quality reps, but I'm and this will probably segue into another thing, so bear with me. I'm jumping around like Tarantino right now. Bear with me.
Okay. You're good.
We'll try to loop you back in when we want you to go in different directions.
I'm going down my rabbit hole. Believe me, all my guys like Jesse, you're doing it again. I'm like, sorry. But, so what I try and do with my group is make sure they are playing a lot of paintball. I have guys that go and guest on other teams when we're not playing events. We play the XTPLs, or I have a majority of the guys that go and play the Paintball Fit series, where you can have a pro player on the line as well. So like me and Kelson Walker just got back from Dallas this weekend. We both went up there and played that. I have guys that are diehard weekend warriors that are out there literally every Sunday, no matter what, and quite a few of them are also out there on Saturday. And then I'm running drill nights Wednesday and Thursday out at X Factor every week, sometimes Tuesday through Thursday, and people are showing up. So that's kind of how this whole thing has blossomed and gained so much traction. I got a lot of guys that want to put in the work, and the culture is just show up, put your hard hat on, and get down to business. Get your hands dirty, get in the dirt. So like you see quite a few of the players have ascended at a rapid rate because they're out there doing that. And they're constantly sparring with me or sparring with each other. And we're running different situational drills, lots of 2-on-2s, 3-on-3s, different kinds of 3-on-3s, island drills, split field 3-on-3s, limited paint, situational stuff where I put guys in spots and then I make them play it out, just all kinds of stuff like that. But it's just a massive amount of reps has gotten us to this point. Kind of the Paintball Fit model, how they kind of hit their stride. But
kind of like the Russians have been doing it for 20 years.
Oh yeah. The Russians too. Sorry I left you out, but yeah.
That's okay. Yeah. I think it was our model before anybody else's, but
oh yeah.
Yeah, it's funny, man. I love that the way that you said that, because we talk about it all the time. The magic pill to success is work. Always. And it doesn't matter if we're talking about paintball or relationships or whatever. Like the magic pill to success is do the work. You may find money in your life by inheritance, but you will not find success in anything else in inheritance. It's work. You have to work really hard if you want to be good at something. We were talking in the green room and I told you, like, you're going to say a lot of really good things, and you already have. I mean, I think the way that you guys processes for blind layouts is probably kind of what everybody expected. And there's probably some things that you do that are unique to your system, and that's okay. But again, the reality is most people still won't do. They won't do it. They won't implement it, right? Because they're like, what we're doing is fine. You guys let's talk about your success really quick. So we'll just stick with this year. I know you guys have experienced success in the past. You guys had a great year in Division 4 last year in the NXL. You won the title. You guys shift gears this year and are playing both USXBL series, the one in Texas and the one in Florida. You guys open up the season 7th place in Florida, then a first place in Texas, then a second place in Florida, then a seventh place in Texas, then a third place in Florida, and then a first place in Texas. So you guys are sitting first overall in the Texas USXBL and third overall in the Florida USXBL in the elite division. The elite division is basically Division 2, right?
Yeah, it's like it's D3, and then you can have a D2 or a really low ranking semi-pro, I
Semi-pro.
believe. Yeah. If the points work out just right.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of these teams, have players with D2 experience. So to piggyback off what you're saying, yeah, like you can make a case that it kind of is a Division 2. Once you break into that second round on Sunday, I mean, yeah, you're looking at Division 2 talent out there.
Chris Kurt said 2.5. That's probably a pretty good way to explain it.
Yeah.
Division 2.5. All right, cool. So obviously the things that you're doing are working. I want to grab a couple of questions from the chat because they fit kind of into what we're sort of discussing right now.
Perfect.
So this is from Christian in the pits. Sorry, no in the pits anymore, but Christian says, yo, Jesse, having been involved with the Gunners for multiple seasons, give us a bigger picture on how you manage your personnel camp-wide, i.e. how do you set your lineups or plan for future promotions?
So I'm kind of planning as the year goes on. And, for instance, my Division 4 team has been a little bit of a revolving door. We have a lot of talent there. And then like there's always like 2, maybe 3 guys where life happens and things happen, it just is what it is. And I'm constantly moving bodies around with that or picking up somebody to fill in or whatever. But there's already been several people, like I brought up a guy from my Division 5 line to my Division 4 line, and he's already a starter, and if he continues to work his ass off like he is doing, he could make a case for being a Division 3 player next year. So like the opportunity is all theirs. Like if you show up and you put in the work and you're performing, like you will get promoted. So I'm constantly tweaking the rosters. The Division 3 roster, the guys that are currently sitting pretty for the series, there's not going to be much tweaking right now. We might move a body up in the near future, but as of now, there's not a whole ton going on with that. And that roster may not change too much next year. We still got to finish the year. We still have quite a few goals we have yet to meet. So anything could really happen. But the landscape's changing constantly. I know, unfortunately, there are some organizations that are folding or might not be fielding teams next year. So there's going to be a talent pool. And I will always be recruiting and open arms welcoming anyone who wants to be a part of the Gunners organization going forward. So we will be having tryouts at some point in December or January. And I'll kind of reassess everything from there. But really, like there's not a whole lot of like, oh, I'm going to add this guy to this line next year, like there are like my D4, and then we'll have a D3 next year as well for the USXBL series. I'll tweak and I'll move stuff around for that. But like the Premier line, that's going to be, pun intended, moving to the Premier Division in WC next year. There might not be a whole ton of change. In fact, I'm going to try and play with them at WC if I can. So we're still kind of figuring out kind of that side of things. I hope I'm answering this, but it's
I think
No, you're spot on. I mean, you're basically saying, hey, yeah, I take this into account, but I wouldn't say there's any specific method to the madness just yet. Right. Things are
No.
working. Don't fix something that's not broken.
Yeah, and I love doing the whole GM side of things. I'm not gonna tweak too much. I don't like bringing in a whole ton of bodies and just sticking them all in this line. I really want guys to earn their keep and show the rest of the group that, you know, they're here to stay. They want to work. They want to put in the time, you know, unless I'm picking up like a veteran experienced player to really help out a line that is struggling, you know, then like I'm not just gonna give you the nod. I'm gonna make you earn it. And it's definitely a what have you done for me lately organization.
That's paintball in general, I think.
Oh yeah. So yeah. Hopefully that answers it for you, Christian. But Christian knows all this stuff. He's around anyway.
Yeah, but he finds it engaging, and I like the question.
Yeah.
So Chris Kurtz says, is Texas versus Florida any different style or toughness of gameplay?
That's a good question.
I can
think
answer
the
that
field-
question. Florida plays slow as shit.
Yes. And I think the field layouts that we've been given at the USXBL over there hasn't helped with any of this. They've the fields have definitely slowed down, especially like later on the Sunday rounds. Guys want to hide, and you know, you end up playing 3-4 points. So that's part of it. I think it's kind of a double-edged sword, though. I think these layouts are a little tough that we've been given, and then the style of play is obviously different as well.
Yeah, they're very.
This last Florida USXBL was tough. The field locked up pretty easily, and then you know, Mike shifts around a few bunkers. We go to Texas, and one of the best layouts. I'm not just biased saying this because my team won. I'm saying it because I played it the following weekend or 2 weekends after, and I was like, this is awesome.
Love it.
One of my favorites. But yeah, I think that's a big part of it, how the layouts kind of are built.
We got two others in here, Ryan.
I'm sorry, I got to take an H2O. I'll be right back.
Well, I'll go ahead and get some of these other questions you've marked out for. So Dev Kane here wanted to ask, accountability in divisional paintball is very tough. And we kind of pushed back on him a little bit. We said, hey, can you come back? You've mentioned that a few times now. Can you give us some examples and situations? And we wanted to bring it up to you and give you a chance to talk about that. How do the Gunners handle all of that?
Accountability as far as like paying your dues,
right?
To the team,
accountability being looking in the mirror, understanding what, you know, hey, this is the culture of the team, right? We're paying to be here, right? But at the same time, you know, the name on the front's more important than the name on the back, etc. So accountability in divisional paintball, what's it like in the culture of Gunners?
It's a big part of it, and guys have been set for this or told like, hey, you're paying your dues, but you know, you have 2-3 guys that are more experienced than you and your specific spot you played, your role you play, and we have our practice prior to the event, and you know, if those guys are playing better, then they're going to get the nod. The other side of it too is it's like, okay, we have it all broken down. We have our team dues, the money being paid and all that. If you're not paying on time, you're not going to play.
Right.
You know, that's the other one. So yeah, it is tough, the accountability side of things, but it's just another layer to it you have to figure out. And I try and just be real with everyone. You know, it's very much of, what have you done for me lately? How are you performing? All of that. And the great thing that has happened with my D3 line, my premier line, is that like we are so deep, it doesn't necessarily matter who's on the field. It's funny. Jeremy Zimmerman played probably 60% of the points in the finals, I want to say. And like he got a major 1 point, and I pulled him out, and the next one we shoot like 2-3 bodies off the break. And then I set him another one, and same thing. Like we shoot a body, and then we get in a position, we mop up 2-3 more real quickly, and they concede. So like that's the system I'm trying to build. It doesn't matter the name on the field. If we execute the play and the 5 guys on the field do their job, we're gonna win no matter what.
It's hard to argue with the meritocracy.
Yes.
Just the people who are doing the work and the people who are performing the best usually are going to be the ones that play, you know. And if you don't have a culture where you recognize that, hey, I'm not playing as well as these other guys, right? I'm probably number 7 on the list right now, maybe number 6 or maybe even number 8. If you don't have the wherewithal and the responsibility and the accountability and the mindset to recognize that, to be an adult and understand what the goal of the team is ultimately, then you probably shouldn't be playing competitive sports.
One of your players is in here. This is culture, right? We all try to hold each other accountable as well on and off the field. Yeah, it's
Well
culture.
said.
We have our Discord with multiple different channels and everything, and each team has an accountability chat. Guys are putting their workouts in there, taking a picture at the gym. I go in there and I post, and I let them know, hey, I might be the coach of the team, but I'm still putting in work. I got to play pro too, you know? So it's good to feed off of that for everybody.
Love it. Let's see. What else
It's a
did you
culture
have?
I don't
thing.
know nothing about that. I don't do any gym stuff. That's silly.
Oh, stop it. You're killing me, Smalls. So Philip Middleton here, 8923 says, do you like blind layouts or do you prefer the dropped layouts?
I'm so torn on it now because we've been doing the blind layout for USXBL for I think 2-3 seasons now. And I feel like it keeps a pretty level playing field. As a player and a professional, I do want the layout so I can practice my shots and figure out all this stuff. As a coach, I don't really like it. And because I'm also that confident in my team that we will figure it out faster than the other teams. So
excellent answer.
Yeah, I am kind of torn on it. But even then, if we had a whole weekend to break it down, you know, I would still be very confident in my team with the product we're going to go put out there. So I'm very split on that.
Right. Well, they're obviously showing tremendous processing speed by being successful half a day on the layout, just walking in theory and then executing it. So I'd imagine if you gave them 2 days, they'd probably be one of 2 things, right? We'd see one of 2 variables there. We'd see an uptick in execution that is just outstanding, or maybe they overthink it and it gets in their way a little bit and they're not as less, you know, let her fly. But just a thought.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
No, I'm split on it.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy the blind field layout aspect of like, we got to figure this out and we got to figure it out before then.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it is cool.
Man, I think you said it the way Mike and I think both feel about it. Like, I love the complexity and intricacies of what we get to do in prep. But I also love watching a field layout evolve over a tournament, right? When it's a blind layout, because you get to see it like we see it. There's kind of a Friday meta, Saturday meta, kind of a Sunday meta, right? Even though we're practicing it for, you know, several days leading up to the event. I feel like when we have blind layouts, though, it's like 7-8 changes, you know, where it's just like bang, bang, bang. It's like every morning, afternoon session, you're seeing, you know, new metas, right? So I'm like you, man. I'm totally split. Like, I don't care as a coach. I don't care either way. I like both, but I do think the product, when you get to play it before, is better.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's a great point, Ryan. I agree. The product is, but you see, I mean, you'll see those moments of greatness and that intellect on a blind layout, but when you're talking about the product as a whole, I think seeing that real chess match is what I agree. Okay.
Yeah.
Love it.
I'm with you, gentlemen.
All right. Got a lot of good stuff going on in here tonight. Jesse's just spitting it.
Yeah, and there was a few things your last point we were touching on. I can't rehearse it word for word, but I did want to talk about my Division 4 team, which has been like the one I've really tried to crack the code and figure out. I have quite a few veterans as in guys that have started the organization, who were a part of that Division 4 team last year, that I moved. And I had them play Division 4 again because they weren't getting a majority of these spins and these reps and the high pressure moments, which is where I think makes a player. And that's where the development really happens. So I purposely put them there to develop, and like right now I have probably 6, maybe 7 guys on that Division 4 line that are good players, but again, it's like who's showing up and putting in the work, and I don't think all 9 or whatever it is on that roster can all say that, because they have other things going on, and guys are in different areas of life and different areas of their paintball careers. And I think some people in their minds are like, I've been playing Division 4 now for a few years, I don't know if I'll ever break through. And I think that's the wrong mentality. Right. Like you're not putting in the work in the areas where like you need it, whether it's the gym, whether it's the film room, whether it's just making time to show up to a drill night.
But that's it. Is they're right. They won't break through. Right. Like if you're not willing to do those things you're talking about, Jess, like they're not going to break through because they're making a decision.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. They're making a decision. Like I'm not going to be able to be on the next tier up, right? Like a woe is me kind of thing. But the reality is like they're making the decision not to tier up.
Yeah. I think most of your D4 for life guys are doing that intentionally. I don't think they want to rank up. Right?
They don't want to do the work.
They don't want to do the work.
It's hard.
They have a good time.
It's hard. It's sweaty.
It's hard, sweaty. Time away from.
Gotta drive to the field and shit.
I gotta do all that
gear
stuff.
on. And
actually have to.
Then I gotta do laundry.
Terrible. I have to take a shower.
Crazy.
Yeah. Dude.
But that brings up an interesting point. How much of your practice time is spent? Let's use your D4 team as an example. How much of your practice time is spent on individual skills versus team concepts?
The majority of the practice is points, and in between the points, I'm breaking down the concepts and all that stuff. Like I try, and this is something I really love that we do, and I've spearheaded this for the past year or two. When we all get to the field, and I tell them 8 a.m. show up, because everyone else at X Factor isn't showing up till 9. Let's get to the field early. I'll show up at 7:30 and blow the thing up myself, and get it all ready to go, so that all you got to do is gear up, get on the field with me, and let's just break it down and, talk shop and figure stuff out. And I feel like going through all our calls and our zones and color calls and all this wonderful stuff that we have set up to simplify the game and simplify the communicative aspect of it. Like we talk about all these things, but it's still like, the little simple small ball conversations that people struggle with in the moment because, oh my God, I'm getting shot at by 2 different people. Well, tell somebody that, motherfucker. Somebody's open, So it's all those kind of things that I just feel like guys, like they just haven't had the light bulb go off, or I don't know, maybe they're lazy. I don't know. But like we talk about these things and they have these flashes of brilliance. That's my line that everybody loves. But like it's finding the consistency of it, and being able to do it without me on the back line having to remind you.
Right.
Hey, check in with this guy. Hey, what's the kill count? How many guys you just called Lucy? What does that mean? Who's on the hold? Like it's just all these simple things that I still have to remind people of.
I think you just answered my next question. I was going to ask you, what do you think the biggest deficiencies your players and a lot of divisional players have when they first come into this whole thing, right? And I think you just kind of answered it, whether that's, remembering your checklist or just standard basic communication
cadences
and, pressure, understanding who's got the ball, that sort of thing. So
it's a great question.
All right.
Yeah.
Understandable.
I think it's Enrique, but yeah.
Well, yeah, I went ahead and called it Enric because he didn't put the, but it probably is
Enrique. Have the K at the end.
Thank you for sharing with us. I think for many players' teams, money is a sensitive topic. Can you help with some ideas on managing pay-to-play teams and equitability?
Go out there and play with a loader and a pod and work on communication and just, hey, I got the guy, go,
I think what he's asking with equitability is like play time, right? Like if we're all paying the same amount, it's kind of like the club sport that's not a club sport, right?
Yeah.
Where we're all paying. So these guys are all paying. Obviously, this is probably not for your premier line, right? Your top line, because those guys they get it. They're all on the same page. But when you talk about Division 4, Division 5, I do this is a topic I get asked about a lot, right? Like, hey, how do I make this equitable for everybody? And my answer is not good because I don't know. I'm always like, I don't know. The best players play. Like if people are putting in the work and they're working really hard and they're playing really good, they're going to play. And the ones who aren't doing the work but paying the money, unfortunately, still aren't going to get to play, right? So, but you may have a much better solution.
It's understood across the board. Just because you're paying doesn't mean you're going to play. You have to perform because you have all these other guys and you might be second or third on the depth chart and the guy in front of you in your spot just so happens to be the best player on the team.
Yeah, I think you've nailed it, right? You're not coming into that situation without knowing that as a coach, as a team, you have to manage those expectations. Yes, we're all paying this to play, but understand something. This is a meritocracy. And if you don't want to be a part of that kind of culture, you should probably take the money elsewhere where they'll let you play because you paid. Right.
One thing I think, just hopefully everybody knows I was being sarcastic with my response before. I do tell people when you start a team, Mike and I talk about this in our clinics too. You need to have like a one pager of everybody's kind of roles, responsibilities, and expectations. And included in that needs to be from you as a coach or whomever is the leadership. The money does not equal playtime, right? Yeah. Effort, energy, being a great teammate, all of these things are what equal, playtime. So have something in writing, right? That everybody kind of signs off on. It's like, yeah, man, it's basically like going to a big company that has a kind of a code of conduct that you're going to sort of manage your, day to day by. So I think having something in writing is really helps with accountability.
100%.
We have a board on the Gunners that makes all the big decisions and whatnot. And one of my guys, the one, his name's Scott, one of the guys that I just pulled up from the D5 line, who's on the D4 line and he's crushing now. He was bringing up almost like a 10 commandments, and it just be understood. Right. Which it's kind of word of mouth that these things are understood. And I let all of them know. And, the higher ups all explain these things to the guys, but it needs to be in writing. Make them sign the PDF, Yeah. Right. And then now you're locked in. You signed it.
Is that your signature right there?
Yeah.
Right. And that's the beauty of metrics, right? If you're doing you're tracking metrics for the season and what have you, and certain people are wanting to know, you can sit there and pull that up and say, your name's next to number 9. I don't have to say anything else. You can just slide that piece of paper across the table. Not that I've ever done that.
Lies. That is a lie.
Anyway.
Yeah. Hopefully we answered your question there. Yeah. For lower division. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just put it in writing. That'll help you a lot. Put it in writing. Man, I don't have any more questions.
I don't either. You actually, it's funny. I'll ask you one question and you'll answer it so completely that you're actually answering some of the other little one-offs I've had. So well done and well played. So.
Thank you.
So I will ask you this one. What's the biggest mistake that you've made through your coaching career?
I think, and this goes back to when I was helping coach Jackpot, if you remember that team, Ryan.
Yep.
Just not showing up, not being there for them when they needed me, you know. And with the Gunners, I made sure that I was all in from the get-go. And like I going above and beyond, and it even goes to the drill nights. Like there's some drill nights where it's just me and Kelson Walker out there, and I'm just like, go grab your case of paint, put it behind the star box. We're playing one-on-ones all night, you know. And it's still going to be productive. But like my point is, I show up no matter what. You know, I'm there to coach. I'm there to teach this beautiful game we play, and you know, I'm all in. I'm gonna be there no matter what, you know.
Right.
So like there were definitely times throughout my coaching career, even my playing career, where I was selfish. You know,
Right.
it was about me. And now it's like it's about these kids and even these grown men that I love to death. But like these kids that I've literally watched sprout up, you know, grow up right in front of my eyes from 13 years old to now 17, 18. Like, and that's the beauty in seeing them like getting reps with X Factor, like out there, and Alex will pull them and be like, hey, come on out here. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
And like just kind of seeing it all unfold in front of my eyes and seeing their eyes light up when we win a tournament, or, you know, we go deep, and you know, that one guy who's, you know, been fighting to break through, all of a sudden saves us in the semifinals.
Yeah.
You know, that guy that I've been sitting on the bench for a little bit, who his number's called and he goes out and he has a huge point. Seeing like that satisfaction, you know, that's what it's about. I want these guys to live out their dreams and have fun.
Right.
And I keep like, that's another thing that I try and remind everybody, like, why did we start this?
Yeah.
Have fun. Don't let the pressure of the moment or all the drama behind the scenes or whatever bullshit come up. Like, let's have fun.
Yeah.
Let's enjoy each other. You know, we're doing something that not a lot of divisional teams get to do, win on, you know, the level that we are, and have fun doing it and be together. You know, and that's like something I also try and tell some of these kids and warn them that, you know, like, you're playing with your best friends right now. You know, if you go pro, you're starting over. These aren't your best friends. You are now competing. It is now a job. So that's another little gem I try and drop on them. But just reminding all these guys to enjoy the moment. And you know, I tell them all the time, like, these are the good old days. Like, we're not getting this back, you know. This right now, be present, you know, have gratitude, you know, that be gracious of like what we've been able to accomplish, and make it fuel you and want to work even harder, because next week it doesn't matter anymore. Yeah, you won the last event. Who cares?
Nobody.
Go do it again.
Nobody.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody.
I do.
Like, even in NXL Pro, you win an event, you get about 3 days to really enjoy it. And then you're
soak
like,
it in.
Yep.
I talked about this last year. It was the first event I won with Red Legion in Cincinnati. Like, literally, we're walking away from the podium, and Alexi is asking me about setting up practice for the next event. Like, we're walking away from the podium. I'm like, can I get 72 hours to enjoy this?
I have one last question for you, Jesse, and this is kind of just to bring it home. And you may have already answered it with your last answer, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway. If I'm a divisional coach watching this episode tonight and I want to build a championship level team, what's the first thing you're telling them?
Figure out the practice schedule and put in as much work as possible, and figure out if money's an issue. Cool. Figure out how to maximize your practices. I think it just comes down to the reps, you know.
Totally.
It really does. Like being on that field as much as possible.
I love it. Great answer.
Yeah, I mean, like even my come up, I'm gonna bring up Crunchy again, but Drew Bankston used to always tell me stories. Oh, he'd take a bag of paint to the woods ball field and disappear all day and make it last, you know? And it's like, okay, can a divisional team do that and it be a productive practice?
Right.
You know, can you find a way to everybody pull together and get a case or two and make that last a whole day, you know, and just find ways to think outside the box and challenge yourselves, make it work. I think it just all comes down to the practice. You know, I'm starting to branch off again. Tarantino's back, but
No,
it
this is good.
it is truly about what do you put in? What is the input? What deposit are you making? Because the product is going to be that.
I love it.
So
it's a conversation I have quite often. So.
Yeah, it's, again, I don't know how often we talk about it. You know, it's in the dirt. So like, I love Jason Witten used to always say that, you know, the work it's in the dirt, you know, all the glory, everything we do, it's in the dirt. He's right. Like where all the hard work is, that's where you're going to find success. So Jesse, thank you, buddy. Really appreciate you joining us tonight. We appreciate all of you out there joining us tonight on episode 124 of the Coaches Show. If you have not yet, get signed up for the Lone Star Coaches Clinic. We are going to talk about the modern coach, active game style tactics, the numbers that matter. So what statistics you need to be keeping, who gives you the best chance to win, field walking 1.0 versus today, building a winning culture. It's going to be a great clinic. If you have not signed up yet, get signed up. If you don't sign up before I leave to go to Texas, you won't get a book. So sign up. Please sign up. Thank you to BKI Paintball, Max Sportswear, and Virtue Paintball. Thank you to Major League Paintball, Major League Paintball Plus, Tom Cole, good Lord, Kevin Fillers, Darren Cessna, and Amanda Maltz. For Mike Bianca, Jesse Stevens, I'm Ryan Gray. As always, be responsible.